Good afternoon. Welcome. So if you're here to listen about the IEC safety standards, you're in the right place. So a little bit of background about myself. I've been in this industry for over 35 years now. And I'm on the IEC committees for MT28 for 2-40. I'm also the chair of MT29 for the safety standards for the sensors. And for SC61C, I'm the chair of the motor compressor standard with MT1, as well as a member of Working Group 4 for 2-89 and MT5 for 2-24. I'm also on many ASHRAE standards, like the ASHRAE 15 standard, our installation code in the U.S. So a little bit about the introduction. How did we get here? You got the Montreal Protocol. You got the F-gas regulations, the Kigali Amendment, the Fit for 55, and the F-gas revision. So this is all driving lots of changes in the safety standards.
Wow.
So again, we're going to talk about a high-level overview of 2-40 and 2-89 for the commercial refrigeration standard and the air conditioning standard. So a little bit where we're at today for 2-40, we currently have the 7th edition in 2022. The 8th edition is in the FDA stage. What we've done in that is we align with the Part 1 as well as the Annex LL for the sensors has been removed from the 8th edition. We were creating a new technical specification for the sensors by themselves. That way, the same sensors can be used in commercial refrigeration and air conditioning. The 9th edition, which will start after we get the 8th edition published, is looking for higher charge limits for A3 type refrigerants. We're looking to possibly make the sensors a PEC or protective electronic circuit, so that is in discussion for the 9th edition.
That's it.
A little bit about MT29. I'm the chair. We've taken, again, that requirements from Annex LL and created a new TS. So going forward, we want to involve the commercial refrigeration segment of this and really drive the requirements. What's in Annex LL today really doesn't give us a robust sensor that could last 10 years. So the new requirements, and they're actually in the UL version of 2-40 now, and it's looking at deviation and drift. We're looking at poisoning from cleaners, from actual refrigerants themselves. And the oils, there's an oil spray test in there. If we're leaking, will the oil contaminate that sensor if it's leaking out, spraying out of a leaked joint or something like that? Currently, if anybody here is a sensor expert, we've had a couple meetings. We're actually meeting in London in December for MT29. If there's anyone that wants to join, it's talking to your national committees and trying to join MT29 to help us go forward and write those requirements. Ad hoc Group 30 in 61D is also looking to do the same thing we've done with MT29. So we're looking at other annexes from 2-40 that may apply to commercial refrigeration. And, so there's Annex JJ, so you're looking at components where they're flame arrest for the A2L refrigerants. Annex BB has a big section in there on refrigerants, and it gives the temperatures which you can have without being an ignition source. So you got A2Ls are good to 700 degrees C, where the other, like A3 refrigerants, are good. Their auto ignition temperature minus 100. So we're looking to do that. Annex NN is another flame arrest enclosure that you don't have to have these ATEX type components for A2Ls. Well, again, that group is going to see what applies to both 289 and 240 and make a new TS going forward. So both standards can just reference those and then have a different group of people to maintain those tests.
Please.
So a little bit about 2-89. We have the third edition, and in there it's allowed up to 500 grams basically of propane. It's 13 times the LFL. So we've added Annex CC. One of the issues we had, because we're going to 500 grams of propane in that standard, what happens in a grocery store situation where you just buy one new cooler that has propane in it, and the one beside it has a different refrigerant, maybe an A1, maybe a 404, something like that has the components could be ignition sources. So that refrigerant we test to make sure that it can't go outside the boundaries of that particular enclosure. So it's basically making sure that we will not be ignited by a different appliance. The fourth edition is really at the CDV stage today. So we've gone through many rounds of comments, and what the fourth edition is containing is we're trying to add the A2Ls to commercial refrigeration, so you can look at these large grocery store applications and use them with A2L type refrigerants. Right. And taking the same kind of requirements where in the standards we have safety shutoff valves or pump down systems where you're pumping all the refrigerant outdoors, and then less likely to have any large amount of leak refrigerant inside the building that could be ignited. Another thing that has been thrown at to this industry again is the PFAS. We look at most A2O refrigerants are PFAS. The blowing agents for the insulation and commercial refrigeration, the chemicals that are in there, they could be banned. And I know we're having discussions in Europe here that the vote is coming soon, and as soon as 2026, we could lose the A2L refrigerants. Now we're basically CO2 or one of the propanes or something that's an A3 type refrigerant, which brings a whole new issue for this industry. You're looking at obviously the blowing agents are one. They will not be allowed. I know there's also, especially the semi-hermetic type compressors, the gasket materials are PFAS. Well, are we going to be able to use those going forward? You're going to have to redesign anything that has a gasket and find a material that actually works. So there's a lot of challenges. In the U.S., the EPA still hasn't decided which way they're going to go. We're discussing with them that obviously the A2L type refrigerants are PFAS. They haven't made a ruling yet in the U.S., so we don't know where we stand in the U.S. And I guess in Europe we typically don't know where we're at yet until these different bodies get together and actually vote on what they're going to ban and what they're not going to ban. Again, the recap, you got the Kigali Amendment, the phase out of high GWP refrigerants. So we're on that critical path to fit for 55 in the F-gas. Again, it's all redesign of the products. It's retesting. I know our labs at UL are overwhelmed right now with everybody trying to recertify. In the U.S., we'll look at the end of this year, air conditioners have to be below 700 on the GWP. Another year from now, we're going to have to be less than 150 on the GWP for commercial refrigeration. So I'm sure our lab and many of your labs is you're looking for test rooms, all those type of things. So it's just being able to test and get it done before these deadlines are met. Again, at UL, we offer training on both the IEC and the UL standards. So anybody wants to set up, we have just some general test trainings. We also have customized just for your products. So it's welcome to come. We got several people here at UL that are able to come and set up those training, because we have the details and on the testing and the requirements to help you better understand what's coming at you. So we actually have a booth at in Hall 5, and we're at 5141. We we have several people there to answer your questions, and I'll be there, of course. So, if there are any questions, anybody have any questions on the training? Or, like I said, this is a very high level overview of the two safety standards as well as what's coming forward for the sensors. So again, thank you.